Hi, this is August 16, 2014, and this is a tarot card reading for Cryharlot. I use the Pentacle spread in forms of Pentacle, generally used to answer a specific question, but it can definitely be used more of a general, just a future spread as you requested. You asked to learn more about the next 2 years of your life. I don't know a lot about you. I will admit I looked at the first page of your history just to see if you're a man or a woman. I assume. So I selected the Queen of Swords as the current card because just asking for a general future reading leaves you a little mysterious to me as to what you're trying to learn about your future, and the Queen of Swords is known as aloof, so I chose that. The first card pulled in this spread is Earth, and this is what's holding you back in the next few years. So many people see the Death card as very scary. Personally, I don't think it's the most negative card in the deck, and to be honest, none of the cards in the deck are negative. They're just, some are more difficult to handle than others. And death definitely isn't one of the easiest. So what this card represents is a major upheaval in your life. Something is going to end, and it's not going to end easily. And that is probably what's going to hold you back. Doesn't necessarily mean the death of a loved one or a pet. It just means that there's going to be the death of something in your life. It can be a symbolic death, a job, school, relationship, something that's important to you can end, even a personal philosophy. And what this card here is showing me is that might actually end up leaving you a little stagnant. You might get wrapped up in the end of this, and you might close your eyes to the positives that are the Death card. The positive aspects of the Death card is through this death, you can have a major rebirth in your life. So something totally new, totally great can enter. But if you allow yourself to get held up by the death of that aspect of your life, you're really going to be blocked from that. Next is the Air card. This is the card that shows us what others in your life are trying to communicate with you. This card here, we have the Magician. So the Magician is a master of all the tools you see here. He's a master of each of the suits. So what his card is really trying to teach us is that we need to take a look at all aspects of our life: emotional, love, spiritual, financial, and we need to take account of all of these things when we're approaching our lives. Using this organizational tool really just strengthens our lives. So I see here that some people are trying to tell you to really just take time to reflect on everything going on in your life. Just to reflect on each aspect and really meditate on how you can move forward and perhaps use all of them to make you the best you can be. It sounds like that maybe when you're stalled, that's definitely going to be a good time just to take some time and meditate about the end of whatever this signifies, and meditate about what you're left with and how you can use that moving forward. This card doesn't always show good or bad advice, just shows what other people are telling you, but I always think the Magician is a positive thing, unless you're someone who tends to just be stuck in your head all the time and doesn't want to move forward. So I definitely think generally that's a good thing. So here we have fire. This is, whereas earth is what's holding you back externally, usually the end of something external, fire shows us what you're having self-doubt about internally. I have the Nine of Swords, and what the Nine of Swords shows us is that you are a very strong person. So what I see here is that you can definitely make it through the death. Honestly, what this is showing me is that almost a self-indulgence. So when this card, when whatever dies in your life, whatever ends, you can make it through it, but part of you kind of doesn't want to move forward. You don't want to work through the pain, even though you're capable of it. So this card shows me that while you're capable of it, you just don't want to open yourself to that rebirth. You don't want to open yourself to new possibilities because you're skeptical. After the death here, you're just very skeptical of taking the time to organize your life and move forward. You're very skeptical and scared of starting over and losing something again. So that's your self-doubt. Now we have water, or intuition. So this card represents really what your higher being. It really depends on you and your spirituality. It can say what your divine is telling you, what your intuition is telling you, your spiritual guides, whatever works for you in that sentence. And so here, funny enough, we have the moon. The moon is definitely a card associated with hidden things. It's associated with intuition, your imagination, psychic abilities. So your intuition almost seems to be telling you to maybe consider either listening to those powers more and developing it more. Maybe you should pick up the tarot. Maybe you should begin exploring your spirituality if you haven't, or continuing to do so. Don't be afraid to open new doors in that spiritual path. Now, another thing this card can sometimes represent is a hidden meaning in your life, and another way, a deception. But to be honest, well, I suppose your intuition could be telling you that this death was perhaps caused by deception. Perhaps you're being told that you were deceived in this death. I just like to give as many meanings as possible so you can walk away. But to be honest, I think it's a little too coincidental to pull the psychic card for the psychic position. So I think that's more the meaning I personally would take. Now, lastly, we have the